Hello, everybody. Yes, I can see and I can hear myself, and I'm quite sure that I am live on the interwebs. Am I live? Yes, I am. Hello, everybody. Um, well, at least we got the show working. We're off to a great start. Finally, we got the show working. Are you opening with the credit sequence? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You got it. And here we are. Here we are, everybody. Welcome again. Hi, at another Torn Tuesday. And this is Clifford Broadway coming to you live all the way from London. No, I am lying. I'm coming to you from my living room. Here we are with my James Garner movie poster that everyone loves to see every week, and The Ringers, Lord of the Fans. Obviously, I'm in the same place, but you guys are coming to us from so many different points around the world, around Arda, everyone coming to watch our show, a very special. I should say this maybe twice, just to get the redundancy out of the way. But honestly, this is a very special program. And we're very glad to have a 20th anniversary celebration uh, coming to us from very dear friend of the Ringers community, Sean Astin, who you know from playing Rudy and Mike in The Goonies, and he was in 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore, and yeah, okay, he was in a couple of movies you might have seen, maybe Stranger Things, season 2 or 3. Did they have his ghost come back? Anyways, Sean Astin has agreed to come share a wonderful a little message of hopefulness and memories and looking back at his experiences as Samwise. Um, Fable.co is a new book club website community that Sean has just gotten involved with. He was so excited to talk with us about it. So, as we do here at theonering.net, we decided to reach out and say, hey, if you'd like to talk with us, we're going to tell everybody in the world about Fable.co and you know your work there. He's such a voracious reader. It's a really cool thing. You guys should check it out and sign up and come into some of the readings. And terribly exciting. But Sean, agreed to give us some of his very precious time, and he was talking to lots and lots and lots of people, only doing like a little 5 minute, tiny little 5 minute window. But as it happens, when he sat down to talk with the OneRing.net, it ended up being a 20-minute affair, and it was really wonderful, way more than we thought that it would be. And that's just because he has always been so generous with his time and reaching out to talk to the fans. He's, a lot of the actors from big franchises do not reach out and have like ground level, street level, goings on with their fandom. But not Sean. Sean is definitely on the ground, feet on the ground, especially when he's running his competitive runs. He's just so fantastic that he's connected with the fandom over 2 decades later. He was glad to come and share with us. So I want to say hello to everybody who is out there. We are broadcasting live, and I'm going to actually take a moment to share this link. Copy link, copy the link, and send it out to a lot of people who are watching us. Hello, this is the OneRing.net. There's no Justin here. It's just myself. I am here solamente, just trying to bring this wonderful clip to you. We're going to get right to it in a little while. You guys, you should all be aware that this is a shorter format. Today's show is not going to be one of those magnificent, what you'd call hour and a half spectacular, or one of those big 2-hour shows. Like when we had Viggo Mortensen, we were talking with Henry and Viggo for a very long time. The Mortensen family, father and son. That turned into, a longer interview. And, I love doing things like this, especially to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Fellowship of the Ring. There's just so much going on, so much wonderful stuff. I know that our good friends at Amazon Studios, I'm being Mr. Euphemism, very poor work today, Mr. Euphemism. You're not doing a very good job. Our good friends at Amazon Studios are busy, very busy working on post-production on season 1 of their epic series. We don't even know what it's called yet, but it's going to be the Lord of the Rings something, the Legend of Greystoke, the Lord of Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, whatever. It's just like, we don't know what they're going to subtitle this thing. But hello, they're watching. Everyone's watching our show. 20th anniversary is just remarkable. We have a lot of, there was the big 20th anniversary that Josh Gad had done. We've done our anniversary shows with Doug Adams and Jim Wirt, doing a deep dive into the score, Howard Shore's music for all 3 films. We've done celebration interviews with the filmmakers from Peter Jackson's trilogy, or 6-film set of Middle-earth films. And we've been doing a lot of things all year long. And I'm just saying, this is the moment where we're literally looking at the calendar right now. It's 20 years ago. Wow. It happened one night. Everybody in the world went to the movie theater that one night. New Line Cinema did not know what was going to happen. There was a lot of hype, a lot of energy, but nobody knew really that the Fellowship of the Ring 20 years ago today was going to become such a cultural phenomenon. We had no idea that it would carry them forward year after year with another $1 billion and another insane success with the box office. We didn't know that the critics would love Peter Jackson's work as much as we, the fans, were enraptured. We love to talk about the weird differences in the omissions, the things that were changed and omitted in the adaptation process. We all loved it. We all loved talking about it. The energy in the fandom was out of control. And I remember it like it was just yesterday, 20 years ago. And it paid off. They made the big gamble. Bob Shea, Mr. Lynn, and Mr. Jackson, and Mark Ordesky, all those people, they made the biggest gamble in terms of high stakes, big investment, high risk, high reward for making this film trilogy. They took the biggest gamble, and boy, did it ever pay off. And here we are 20 years later. Next week, believe it or not, we have even something even more special. Just a little bit of forewarning. Before we get to the Sean Astin clip, it'll just be a moment. My friends, patience. It's only going to be a moment. We'll get Sean on the air. But next week, we have something so very special. We have never before heard by human ears, except for probably Doug and Howard Shore, music score from The Lord of the Rings, from our friends. I can't even tell you, do not miss next week. Do not miss coming to the OneRing.net, 5:00 p.m. Pacific time, next Tuesday, for a very special, I can't believe this, never before heard, at least not by the commercial public, unheard music from the Lord of the Rings score. It's just blowing my mind. I'm telling you what, this is really super cool. Now, after the chat, I'm going to say hello. We are obviously broadcasting on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord, everywhere else in the world. But I just cannot tell you that the excitement is just kind of self-contained to what I'm looking right now. And it's okay, Julia. It's all right if you're late. Doesn't matter if you're late. I'm going to say hi to Matthew, Alex P. of Gondor, Levi, CM. Look at, there's Stephen, David. We have so many wonderful folks in the YouTube chat. Hello. And to the other people, I cannot see you in the other chat, but hello, welcome. Welcome aboard. Just yesterday, we had this conversation with Sean, and we got to talk to him just for a little while. He was so wonderful. In terms of where we are, it's like the door never shut. The Hobbit movie was not something we thought would be made, but it was made. And then it became not just 2 movies, it became 3 movies. And that was already 10 plus years after the first Rings trilogy was already done. And after the Return of the King, and they'd capped off that massive Oscar sweep with 11 out of 11 Oscars for Return of the King. You never thought that you'd get lightning in a bottle like that. But we don't know yet what is in store. Amazon Studios is cooking up some delicious banquet, a really delicious, feast is being prepared. And like that Gandalf quote from the book, all the people do like being told ahead of time what is being prepared for the feast. But, the chefs and the people who work hard in the kitchens, they like to keep their surprises because it makes the words of praise grow louder, right? Speaking of, nobody's louder than this. I'm sorry, you guys have had to listen to this guy over and over again, interrupting the broadcast. Hello, Mithrandir. Say hello to all the nice people out there. Hi, my name's Myth. I'm the very badly behaved cat. I'm a very bad boy. Yeah, he's a bad boy. Now you know. Now you all know the truth. Happy 20th anniversary. To share this with all of you as a community is the last thing I want to comment on before we play the clip. It's just amazing to share everything that I have been able to share and experience around the world with all of you wonderful people. There have been journeys to New Zealand. I have gone there so many times. I've journeyed to the United Kingdom and back. I have interviewed fantasy authors, the famous author Terry Pratchett, who's no longer with us. And I've interviewed Clive Barker and the guys from Rush. Great interview with Geddy Lee. I've interviewed David Carradine and Tolkien scholar Brian Sibley and Tom Shippey. All these great people. I've interviewed so many fans and authors and filmmakers and artists. But the sense of community and the sense of togetherness has never really changed. It has never waned. It's never waxed either. I mean, to be honest, it's constant. There is something that I appreciate about all of you watching our live shows, coming to join us and reading our articles on theonering.net and being part of our message boards and going back in time 20 years ago, and it was just all IRC chat. Everybody was on the IRC chat. I'm so appreciative of the wonderful people and the hardworking craftspeople and filmmakers and musicians and artists that I've met over the years. Thank you for enriching my life. So I'm so glad you're all here, and we're ready. I think we have somebody in the control room who's ready to show that video. It is time for you guys to sit down for just a little bit with Samwise himself, and then we'll come back and wrap up the show. And just to acknowledge all of you, thank you for being with us for all of these years from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Here we go. Roll that beautiful beam footage. Okay. Hello. This is Clifford Broadway from theonering.net.
And I'm Justin, and we're here with Sean Astin on the 20th anniversary of The Lord of the Rings, the movie release. I've got the big box set right here. And Sean, you look better than ever in 4K, But since you were a ring bearer, do you feel 20 years older?
I do. I do feel 20 years old. The elven immortality thing hasn't set into me yet. I feel the tick of each moment pass and the weight that it plays on my organs.
That's awesome. I was just wondering, 20 years ago, I wrote an article for the OneRing.net, and it was all about Sam. And it was this, thematic conversation that the story isn't really about Frodo. The story is really about Samwise and the transformations that happened to him. Even when we get to the Two Towers, your character is making this strangely self-referential statement about, gee, Mr. Frodo, I wonder what kind of tales and stories we are going to be part of. And it's amazing, really, that maybe nobody told you 20 years ago when you got the script, when you were first auditioning for Peter and Fran. Did they bother to tell you that the story is really centered around you, around Samwise? They never told you that, did they?
Well, they still haven't told me that. You're the one. You're the one. It's funny. You talk about this self-referential. There was it's boring. Think about how boring it must have been to cross Mordor, to walk across Middle Earth. They couldn't jump on a bus. They couldn't take a flight anywhere. They were walking the whole time. So, while we're enjoying a large vista of the remarkable mountains off of this way, and they're heading into certain peril that way, they're just step by step. So I'm sure they had a lot of things to think about and wonder about, and whether they'll be put into songs or tales. Sam's awareness of the context of the. I love those moments with Sam. I love those moments because you think most of the time he's not aware. He's a Zen guy. He's in the moment. He's making the potatoes. He's right. Dealing. He's tying up Gollum with the elven rope. He's just dealing with shit that's in front of you right now, But every now and then he's like, no, when Shelob stings Frodo and he thinks Frodo's dead, he takes the ring. He becomes a ring. That talk about self-aware. He was in the council, and he said, "We're going with you." In my mind and heart, it meant he's going to protect Frodo. It's not he's going to participate in the quest. His part of the mission is just to look after his master. It's very isolated, focused thing. So for him to go oh, it's down to me now to save the world. Even that, he's still kind of immediate about it and thinking about, but he doesn't put it on. Isn't that interesting? I haven't really thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
He never puts it on. Oh my God, 20 years, a new discovery. He had the ring, but he doesn't put it on.
One of the questions that has come up over the last 20 years, is about the Osgiliath speech. And, it's the moment that everybody cries. It's the moment that everybody wishes you won the Oscar for. But a lot of people who are familiar with the acting and behind the scenes, how many takes did it take to get that Osgiliath speech right?
One.
Ooh.
The man.
And then it took about 50 to prove it. I can't remember how many flubs I had, but there's a distinct recollection I have of I've arrived. Because if Ian McKellen during the filming would make a mistake and keep going, it's Ian McKellen. I would make lots of mistakes all through the filming, but I never had the sense of confidence that it was okay. It's okay. All right, let's do it again. Let's go for another take. Okay, great. Peter, can I please do one more? Whatever. But it was always within this sensation of focus. Whereas you could see, if I don't know if Liv Tyler ever, and when Christopher Lee would make a mistake, it wasn't just there's an older man who stepped on his dress. It was, this is a legend of film lore, and the fact is moving around in a wizard cloak is not that but it was okay. There's this famous thing of him complaining, damn it, Peter, I can't do this thing. He just can't maneuver. He can't move around in heavy costume they put on him. And of course he went over to Star Wars and had a big lightsaber battle, but it was Christopher Lee. Well, when we got to doing the Osgiliath speech, the first film had come out and been wildly successful, made over $1 billion in the theater. The second film, and 9/11 had happened right before it came out, which was like had kind of reset everyone's emotional gyroscope somehow. And then they were doing this scene. They were adding this scene and they were restructuring the way they did the kind of conclusion of the second film around this paragraph. And I think they gave it to somebody else or other characters first, and then they gave it to Sam. I don't think it was Sam's originally in the adaptation. I don't really know, but when we got down there, I'd been interviewed for every large newspaper of every city in America. I'd traveled to 20 countries promoting the films. I'd seen toys of myself. I'd been to at least 2 or 3 autograph conventions where I signed thousands autographs for thousands and thousands of dollars, like you kind of, and then there we were back at Stone Street, back in the clothes, and there's a camera, and now everyone is like so aware of everything that's going on. Like,
oh, really?
This moment you're filming is going to be all over the planet. The whole movies, the whole making of the films, not aware of that. Yeah, aware of it, but now it was bona fide. And in a way, it like messed me up when we were shooting this. There's that moment with Shelob when he goes, "Get away from her, you filth," or not, you won't touch him again, or whatever he says to Shelob. And it's actually Peter Jackson's arm in the foreground of the shot with Sting glowing, and then it comes back to me, and the dolly pushes in. We filmed that after the fact too. And I like couldn't do it. We did that like 7, 8 takes. And Peter's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I can't see the spider." "What do you mean?" I'm like, my imagination was so powerful and so strong and so like supple while we were filming the movies that I felt like I taught everyone. I didn't, but it's something I feel. It's a conceit that like I didn't have to look at the tennis ball to see the dinosaur. I didn't have to look at the piece of tape to see the Balrog. Like I could see it. In a lot of the movies where they had CG stuff, you could tell the actors looking behind. Like even Bob Hoskins, who's so brilliant in Roger Rabbit, who pushed the bounds of what cinema was capable of beyond anything anybody thought was capable. It's one of the most brilliant performances in film history, right? You can see, if you study it closely, he's looking behind the rabbit because the rabbit's being put on in 2 dimensions and he's looking at a fixed point in space. I knew this. And I'm really proud of it. And I could look up and I could see the spider. Well, during the retakes, I couldn't see the spider. My imagination was interrupted with all of the fame and all the everything, the accoutrements of the success of Lord of the Rings. And I had to like try and crowd that stuff out to be able to see the spider. Well, with Osgiliath, something happened that had happened on the volcano, which is like on the way to work, I read the words, do you remember the Shire, Mr. Frodo? It'll be springtime soon and the birds will be nesting in the hazel thickets and they'll be sowing the first of the barley in the lower fields and eating the first of the strawberries and cream or whatever. Like I remember going from that chateau that we stayed in, that haunted chateau, up to this, and I'm reading it and I'm looking around like, I get to say this. Like I get to say these words. And so I kept doing it. And Elijah, you always run lines with your partner, can we run lines? Sure, great. Run lines. I'm like, can we do it again? Yeah. Can we do it again? Yeah. Can we do it again? Yeah. And Elijah's like, dude, I think you got it. I'm like, yeah, but just do it again. And I just wanted to do it over and over and over again before we got up there. Because what happens is you get up to the volcano, the lights going, the fades in, the green screen across the valley, then the guy with the pot smoke is sitting on the thing or whatever, the little, where they create the volcano looking ash thing. And like, it's over. It's over in a blink. And it's so good. You want to, well, now it's going to live in the movies forever. And that's a beautiful thing. But like in the doing of it, this is the thing about theater. You can do it again and you do it again and it's different the next time. And so, yeah. So to me, the Osgiliath thing, you talk about the Oscar, right? Like I was in LA with a fax machine when I printed that out and it was like that flimsy fax paper that, children, there was a thing called a facsimile machine. Anyhow, and I read it and I looked up at Christine, my wife, and I go, I'm going to win an Oscar. She goes, what do you mean? I go, read this speech. She goes, oh my God. I'm like, so you asked this question about how many takes it was on the day. It was the first time I felt like I can take my time. I'm like Sir Ian McKellen. I'm like Christopher Lee. I'm like, I've now earned I belong on this gravel driveway at Stone Street. and I have all the responsibility that, that playing Samwise is heir to. But I just didn't. So I just kept wanting to do it over again. Can we do it again? Yeah. Can we do it again? Can we do it again? I was trying to get my like tears thing. We have this thing where we use little grains of mentholyptus, and I would put it, like I'd wipe it under my eyes, and it instantly like opens up your nasal passages, instantly makes you start crying, and after a little bit, it makes your eyes really red. It gives you a headache, but it makes your eyes really, really red. And one of the secrets to the performance, my performance in Lord of the Rings, is that I damaged my eyes. There's no question in my mind that my eyes were damaged because of it. That redness is real. It's like a pained redness. You can't fake it. It's just not a clear-eyed thing. And on close-ups, when you see it, and you got the dirt and the grime, and we realized too, like with dirt, the makeup people would come and they'd put dirt on your face, right? And it would look like makeup dirt on your face. And then you'd squirt a few spritzes of water, and the dirt would like just kind of sink into the pores, and then it would look like real dirt. So I just remember like in shooting that scene, like I put the little menthols there to make my eyes red, and it was like burning. And I'm like, I couldn't, and now you couldn't like waste time the cruise there. You have to be respectful of lunch, and they have other shots to do. You're not going to like actually take 50 takes. But I remember like that balance between, hey, if I want another one, it's only fair to do another one. This is Samwise we're protecting, and Peter, Elijah, I can remember Elijah just being like, he's sitting on the ground. He's not even in the shot. He's like sitting on the ground. I just remember looking at me like, dude, like really? Like you did it. Move on. So anyhow, long answer to a short question.
Well, we know you're talking to a bunch of people today because everyone's so excited about the 20th anniversary of Lord of the Rings. But yesterday you launched the Fable Book Club, and we had a bunch of ringers were telling us that you started talking about Scouring of the Shire, which was a chapter that isn't in the movie. I guess the question is, do you think anything was lost by not including Scouring of the Shire, the penultimate chapter in Tolkien's book?
So Fable.co is this new platform that does book clubs. I have a book club. We just finished Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And then it was, the next was going to be Born to Run, because I'm a runner, but the publisher gave us permission to do Lord of the Rings. So we shifted gears, and it all became about, I've got my leatherish, I think it's like synthetic, but bound Lord of the Rings pocket version. And you also can get it on in the digital within the app, and you can like make notes and stuff like that. But there it is, the red book. Yes, I have that one too. I think when I'm at home, I'll read from that one. But if I'm on the road, like I was in Atlanta last night, I'm in LA tonight, I have this one. So
Sean, this is so lovely. This is the edition you signed for me. It's wonderful. Thank you.
That is so sweet. Yeah, well, I have that exact edition sitting by my bed at home. So it's like the Bible, right? Like you just keep going. You can open it to any page and just be reading a little bit. But so as we wanted to make it special for there's like 300. There was actually, I think there's about 300 fans, 270 fans, something like that in the book club. Not fans, book club members. Club members of the
readers.
Book club. Readers, yes. Who are in there. So we did an exclusive Zoom. And because the four hobbits are on a group chat, I sort of said right before the Zoom, like, hey, if anybody's available, I'm going to be talking to a couple hundred readers of the book club. And if you want to pop in and say hi and wish them well on the journey, this next journey of all of our going back into the Lord of the Rings again. And Billy Boyd popped on. And Billy Boyd was the one who brought up the Shire sequence. Somebody asked if there's anything they wish would have been in it. And he talked a lot. He's talked about it a lot over the 20 years about wishing that the Shire was in it. And I remember the palpable feeling of disappointment when I realized that we weren't going to be able to be like the swashbuckling, avengers of the Shire, where we come in and are, capturing people and killing them and sending them off and like all the great things, being the heroes. So I remember that. I don't think it hurts the movie in any way, shape, or form not to have it in the movie. I think Peter Jackson was absolutely right. I remember saying to Peter, people's memories change over time, and I accept no responsibility for my telling of these memories because I don't own them strongly enough to do it. But I remember whining to Peter about it, and there's a moment where Galadriel looks into the Palantir, or when Frodo looks into the Palantir and sees this, the devastation of the Shire. We're all in chains. I think I'm in chains. I don't know if Rosie's in chains, but we're being kind of mushed along. It's just sort of this vision of the cataclysm of the
Yes.
Shire. And to me,
he sees that vision in the mirror of Galadriel.
In the Palantir mirror, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm saying Palantir. What Palantir's these things? What's Galadriel's mirror called?
The Mirror of Galadriel.
Oh, there it is. All right. Yeah, sorry. I was yeah.
It's okay.
When Cliff looks confused, it means I'm saying something wrong.
No, brother. We got you. We got your back.
You got my back. So anyhow, but that moment of seeing the Shire in like, I don't know, in distress, to having been ruined, that was like enough for me to feel like you don't just have the Shire as this idyllic thing in your mind at the end of the story. It's a visual way to show you what was at stake. So he was seeing the possible future of what could go wrong. And that's what part of what helped propel him to go forward. So, but to me, as an audience member, and even as Sam, like I feel like if that threat isn't real, for the same reason it was important to Frodo to see it, it's important to me that it got seen. So I'm very glad they did that. But I think it could be a spinoff series, kind of a sitcom, The Scouring of the Shire, some sort of multicam with a laugh track. We'll see what we can do.
Oh my God, Sean, that is so funny. We do have to let you go as time is of the essence, but I want to congratulate you on everything. I want to congratulate you on having the last word in The Lord of the Rings. It's all about Sam, and the story is over not when Frodo leaves on that ship. The story is over when you come back home and say, well, I'm back. And it is the most amazing thing in literature. Everybody's in tears. It's wonderful. You are wonderful, again, for being with us and being part of our community all these years. And what you've brought to the role of Samwise is just it is a cultural touchstone that I'm sorry to throw too much at you, but it's the best. And it doesn't get any better than you as Samwise. And you've got our love, and generations of fans just love you and adore you.
Oh,
thank you,
Cliff. Thank you for that very much. There's always a sense of responsibility when you're doing something, particularly when you're doing anything in life. You should be accountable to yourself and to what you're doing. But you and the One Ring and Justin, of course, but you are always out there as this kind of nurturing but ever-present reminder that there is value beyond what I do as a filmmaker, as an actor, whatever, producer. Like, you do that thing. There's this other thing, and you are the gatekeeper of this thing, of this fandom, of this Tolkien universe, in your way that you've done. Kind of like at Bree, you're kind of like the gatekeeper at Bree, but seriously, come into the book club and share your thoughts with us, because we're just doing it little bits by bites as we go, but it would be meaningful for everyone to hear what you set us straight a little bit. I'm sure
we'll definitely take you up on that, my brother, my friend, our Melon. Thank you. Thank you,
And
Sean Astin. And thank you to everybody.
Something just opened. You said that and something opened somewhere. I can feel
something opened
it.
somewhere. Thank you, everybody, for letting us do this. And happy anniversary to you, Sean, and
Happy
to
anniversary to
everybody
all of us.
in the community. It's fantastic. We'll see you soon, brother. Thank you.
See you soon.
Everybody go sign up. And it's really fantastic to share that with all of you guys. What a great storyteller Sean Astin really is. He should write a book someday because he is a really, really, really great storyteller. I love that. It's hilarious. So I'm going to just sign off. But before I sign off, I wanted to clarify real quick that, I'm not really a gatekeeper in that negative connotation. I think I know what Sean was really trying to say. I think we all really do understand, and I do. I appreciate the manner in which Sean was saying that. I'm not a gatekeeper in that negative sense to keep people away from the fandom. I'm always the first person to be encouraging people to come in. And by that, maybe I just like to help friends get exposure to really good literature. I'm the guy who's always telling them, read Tolkien, read Ursula K. Le Guin, watch Miyazaki, take in the good artists, take in all the good art, take the Neil Gaiman. You can borrow my copy of the graphic novels. So in that sense, I'm the one who's trying to show everybody the very best, the best of, genre fandom as best as I can. And here we are, 20 years later. Wonderful to have you guys here. One word of warning, however, next week, we are going to be broadcasting music that has never been heard before from Howard Shore's efforts on the Lord of the Rings score. But because of YouTube copyright concerns, we're going to get dinged and shut down for playing the music. So everybody get your Zoom accounts ready. If you don't have a Zoom account, start one. Sign up for free, whatever you're going to do. Because next Tuesday, we will be sending out a very special Zoom link. It will be the only way to come into the broadcast. It will be the only way we can successfully broadcast some of this amazing music without getting knocked off the air for copyright infringement. So mark your calendars. It's going to be next week. That'll be Tuesday, the 28th at 5 o'clock Pacific time. I want everybody to have a wonderful and safe holiday. If you're traveling, I hope you have an uneventful flight and a really boring, uneventful journey, because that's the best I can wish for. You'll have all the crazy mischief when you finally get home and get to hang out with your family for Christmas. Now, I can't help you with that, but at least I hope your journey is safe and uneventful. Everybody, be kind to yourselves. Be good to yourselves and to those people around you who love you. And if you don't know what to get people for Christmas, because it's only a few days away, the big holiday where you have to find a last-minute gift, I tell you what, the answer is always Tolkien. Get them another edition of The Lord of the Rings that they don't have. Those book readers who have never, ever read The Hobbit, get them a copy of The Hobbit. Get them a copy of the annotated edition. If you want the really, really good stuff, get the annotated Hobbit that was made special by Douglas Anderson, the very best. So love you guys. You're the best. And we're going to sign off now. Remember, get your Zoom accounts ready for next Tuesday. And now we're going to sign off and say, I wish you a very happy holiday season. Get yourself a copy of J.R.R. Tolkien's Father Christmas Letters. But I don't mean that, as a gift for your friends or your family. Buy yourself a copy if you don't have one already, because it is the sweetest, most beautiful, beautiful stuff. I love this time of year. It really gets me. I get to put up the lights and all the Christmas wreaths all around my house, and then I get to crack open that copy of Father Christmas Letters. It's the best. Tolkien fans, you know what I'm talking about. It's amazing. Just dig in. It's really, really good. And we're going to have a really great show next week. And get your Zoom ready, get your ears unclogged, get the Q-tips, clean out the wax, because we're going to be listening to the most glorious, unheard tracks. We're talking about stuff that's never been released commercially. It's going to be amazing. So until then, take really good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful holiday. And we'll be here next Tuesday, right here on theonering.net. Myself, you can find me and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at QuickBeam2000. That's me. And Justin, well, he'll be back pulling strings and pulling the levers behind the curtains next Tuesday to help us have a really fantastic program. Thank you, wonderful community of friends who are with us all the time. You are beautiful people. I wish you well, have a safe journey, and a great holiday. Until then, I say good night and good luck. Sometimes I usually say buenos noches y buena suerte. Talk to you later. Bye.